Welcome to day 17 of our 30-day series where we explore fears, phobias, and ways to overcome them. Today, we venture into the unsettling world of dolls and mannequins, objects that seem lifelike but aren't quite alive. For many people, these lifeless figures trigger a primal discomfort, a sensation rooted in the uncanny valley effect. If you've ever felt that uneasy twinge when looking at a mannequin in a store or a doll in a collection, you're not alone. Today, we'll explore why that is and, more importantly, how to overcome this fear. So, what exactly is the uncanny valley? The uncanny valley is a psychological concept that explains why we feel disturbed when we see something almost, but not quite, human. It's a gap, a strange zone, where something looks familiar enough to resemble a human, but just off enough to make us uncomfortable. Think about a doll with glossy eyes that never blink, or a mannequin with a too perfect posture and frozen expression. Our brains can tell they aren't real, but their close resemblance to a living human triggers a response in us. This unsettling sensation has evolutionary roots, and today, we'll break it down and show how we can rewire that response. Let's first talk about why we experience this. Humans are wired to recognize faces and emotional expressions in others as a survival mechanism. It helps us connect socially and identify potential threats. But when a figure like a doll or mannequin mimics these characteristics without fully being human, it confuses our brains. We start to doubt whether the figure is safe or dangerous, causing that eerie, sometimes fearful feeling. Historically, dolls were meant to be comforting companions, often given to children to play with. However, as designs became more lifelike, the balance shifted. The more realistic they appeared, the more unsettling they became. You might remember movies, TV shows, or even urban legends where dolls came to life, amplifying that fear. Mannequins, on the other hand, serve a very different purpose. They're designed to showcase clothing and accessories, not comfort us, but their human-like forms, especially when poorly lit or partially obscured, can lead to that eerie sensation, like something's watching you when it isn't. We encounter these figures in everyday spaces, whether shopping malls or art exhibits, yet many of us avoid getting too close or make a conscious effort not to look into their eyes. But here's the thing, most of this fear is rooted in the unknown and in misunderstanding our own psychological triggers. Let's break down how we can overcome this fear of dolls and mannequins by understanding it. Step 1. Desensitization. Just like with any other phobia, repeated exposure in controlled settings can reduce anxiety over time. Start by spending small amounts of time near dolls or mannequins. The goal isn't to avoid that uncomfortable feeling, but to let it surface and diminish as you realize there's no real threat. Step 2. Shift your focus. If you feel uneasy around these objects, try focusing on specific non-human details, the stitching of their clothes, the paint on a doll's face, or the material of the mannequin's surface. By recognizing them as objects rather than almost humans, you begin to break the illusion of lifelike threat. Step 3. Immerse yourself in the creative process. Some people find that building or painting models of dolls or mannequins helps them see the craftsmanship and art behind these figures. When you understand the level of human design that goes into creating these objects, they become less alien and more familiar. And finally, step 4. Reframe the narrative. Think about the media you consume, movies, TV shows, or stories that paint dolls and mannequins as scary or haunted. Realize that these are fictional creations meant to entertain, not reality. Take control of the narrative in your mind and reshape it. If you feel fear, ask yourself, is this fear real, or is it a product of conditioning? This process can help dismantle irrational fear. By applying these steps consistently, you can retrain your brain to overcome your fear of the uncanny valley. Remember, it's normal to feel uneasy, but those feelings can be managed with patience and understanding. As we conclude day 17, let's reflect on this. Overcoming fears, even those that seem deeply embedded in our psyche, is entirely possible. It's about understanding the root cause, reconditioning your mind, and facing what scares you in small, manageable doses. You control your fear, not the other way around. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 18, where we'll dive into another common phobia. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you've been following along with our 30-day series. Let's conquer our fears together, one day at a time.